So yeah, I'm Mickey Mellen with a firm called Mellen Media. We're a website and digital marketing shop. Yeah, share my screen here. We're a team of 9 just off Marietta Square. We've been around about 15 years. So the talk is I'm going to share about empathetic marketing. And so empathy is really what people are feeling. Attunement's what people are thinking. They kind of blend together. Daniel Pink talks about a good bit. But really, I just want to talk about seeing things from the other person's perspective, especially your clients. So I have 10 super quick things to share. So I have like 18 seconds each. So here we go. Start with the word sonder. I don't know if you've ever heard this word before, but this word fascinates me. Defines the moment when you realize that everyone around you has an internal life as rich and conflicted as yours. The link there, gmm2.sonder, is a video someone made about it. But just the idea of like that person in the back of the coffee shop is just a extra to you, but really they have a full and rich and complex life, just like, none of you know me, but I do too, and you do too, and everyone does. Just realizing that literally everyone does is just a interesting way to see the world, and it plays into how you deal with clients and stuff too. Like you're frustrated about one little aspect of how you know them, but they have a full life behind that, and it can give you some grace for people when they might need it most. Another one, the title looks weird, but it's present or be present. This is Blair Enns. I follow a lot of Blair stuff. I think some of you guys probably do too. But when you go into presentation mode, you're no longer present, which I am right now. So I'm not in a conversation with you right now, but with clients, we're trying to do fewer presentations and more conversations just to be present rather than running through the slides, just having a conversation about the data we found, about what we're seeing, instead of just slide. So that's been an interesting one for me to see that. I read a lot of Seth Godin. This is one he had recently. Generosity is not about lowering your price. It's about doing the emotional labor to make things better for someone else. And that might mean, if you're a luxury good provider, raising your price. So for all of us, we assume that lowering your price is probably the thing people value most. And often it is. I think generally speaking it is, but not always. It could be offering more value for what you do. Or again, in some cases, like for a luxury good or something, raising your price could be good and lowering it could be awful because people don't value it as much if it's lower. So we don't generally raise our price just for that, but it's interesting to think about it from that perspective, that you always think I'm going to be generous, so therefore that means lower my price. And it probably does most of the time, but not always. Another one I like is the fundamental attribution error, where you tend to attribute another's actions to their character, but yours situations outside of your control. So like if you're driving a car, you're late to pick up your kids, like you're cutting through like, I'm late. But if someone else does the same thing, like they're a jerk, they're horrible. And so again, if your client does something bad, maybe they're jerks. I mean, it could be a jerk, but maybe they're just being foolish and, you're attributing it to the wrong place. And again, back to Sonder, they may have other situations, but that's one to look at. Again, that Corolla that just drove past is a jerk. So one, maybe it's not, maybe they're late to pick up their kid, but also with Sonder, that's not a Corolla. It's Stephanie or John, or it's someone in there. It's a human in there. You don't know them, but it's never just a car. Keeping that in mind is awesome. And I love Blair. If you don't listen to the Two Bobs podcast, you totally should. It's fantastic. Number 2, BOBS.com. But I think this was from his Win Without Pitching book. He said, we'll be careful not to seed our expertise by actually asking, which one do you like? We will direct all discussions around the creative back to the strategy and ask if we are accomplishing our goals. So again, people will think, I like blue better. It should be blue. And again, I want to respect their thoughts, but I also want to push back and say, I don't care if you like blue. Why does your client like blue? Why would that matter there? Why would your client care if your logo was bigger? They all want the logo bigger, is the famous thing. And I say, cool, why would that help your client? And there's usually not a good answer. And so again, seeing things from their perspective and help them see it even from the perspective of their clients is fantastic.